So yeah, I joined the Coast Guard at 19 years old. I grew up in the middle of the Mojave Desert, so cool town, very small community. Sports was life. Just a really tight knit community. So I knew that I was dreaming of traveling the world, and getting out there and seeing different things, meeting new people. So I decided to join the Coast Guard at 19 years old. I went to Kodiak, Alaska right off the bat, which was crazy, you guys. I'm from the middle of the Mojave Desert. I've barely seen snow, where I was from. And to go and experience, my first blizzard and, be on a ship and jump in the ocean in the Arctic Circle, like all of these really cool experiences, but my point is with that is that I loved my job. Alaska, I went to Puerto Rico, Hawaii. I recruited new people out of Fresno for 4 years, which was an extremely fulfilling job because you're seeing people that truly want to serve their country, that truly want to make a difference, and you're able to help facilitate that and bring people in and kind of show them the ropes to where they can gain their own success. Traveled all over with the Coast Guard, very successful in the Coast Guard. I loved it. Like I had a plan at least 20 years, if not 30 years, for me to stay in the Coast Guard. Unfortunately, my last duty station, which was Miami, I got there in 2012, you guys, and remind you, my first seizure was 2010. So I still continued over those initial first 2 years to battle, seizures, going through tons of testing, trying to figure out what's going on. Is it side effects of medications? Is it this? Is it, whatever? What's causing these? So 2012 comes along and I get to Miami. And so still super bad seizures. I'm working every day. I'm driving still, stupid of me saying bluntly at that time that I was driving, but I didn't understand even the condition like I do now to this day. So Miami was a horrible time. So this is getting into my story, basically, is that work was there, and I was enjoying work, but I was having seizures daily. I have tonic-clonics, which are grand mal seizures. I have cluster seizures. I have partial petite seizures. So some seizures, will just happen, and it's, I know when they're happening or know after they happen, but you don't fully lose your consciousness or you don't fully lose control of your body. Those are the tonic-clonic or the grand mal seizures. Catamenial seizures. Yes, Colleen. So I encourage you, Google CBD and your specific seizure condition. Those of us that are on here that are familiar with epilepsy or seizure conditions, we do know that there's one approved CBD drug that the FDA does regulate. I don't know the name off my top of my head. I apologize for that, but it's basically a nasal spray and it's for certain types of seizures or epilepsy. So yeah, Miami was horrible. I mean, it was daily seizures, daily seizures. I was waking up on my ground, my head split open, waking up on the bottom of my shower. I lived alone, and I had tile floor, so it was scary. I'd wake up and I would be able to see, okay, how long have I been out by the consistency basically of the blood? Is it dry? Okay, I've been out a little bit longer. Is it wet? Okay, I probably haven't been out that long. Very scary time. My family, my whole support system is out here in California, reaching out to them. I know my mom and different people, we're at a loss. My mom had just had back surgery, couldn't make it out there. It was just crazy time. So is it? That might be it, Jerry. I'm not sure. I'll have to look after this and pull it up. But it's like that nasal spray, and it works wonders, but I think it's marketed towards a specific type of epilepsy. And I don't want to give wrong information, so I'm not going to give that here. But what's up, Aaron? Patricia, definitely. I'll contact you after this. So Miami, one of the worst seizures that I had, and this is kind of what opened not only my eyes to this condition, but also the Coast Guard's eyes, my branch of service, is that while I was in Miami, I had a really bad seizure. I was up on the 16th floor of this building, and the way I seized, I hit like a corner of a wall. and went down. And so that seizure, I was out, for almost 5 minutes, fully convulsing. From what was told to me, purple, lips blue. During that seizure, I actually broke my back. So I broke my back right on the spine in 10 different spots, down my spine. What I remember, before the seizure, and I remember telling my buddy, I'm like, I'm feeling a little weird. Like, basically, I know when big ones usually are coming on. And bam, it happened. The next thing I know, there's paramedics, everybody around me. This is on the 16th floor of this building in downtown Miami. So I've been out that long to allow the paramedics to get there. I couldn't move. I'm trying to stand up. I was sick to my stomach, instantly puking because of the pain in my back. I instantly went to the hospital, x-rays. Okay, your back's broken. Then they sent me to a spinal institute where they did further testing and said, okay, yeah, it's not only broken, but it's broken in 10 spots. So I was lucky enough that I didn't need rods. I didn't immediately need surgery. Will I need surgery sometime in my life? What they're saying, yes. What I'm hoping is I'll battle that till the day I die. I don't want to have surgery. I also never went on pain pills. I wore a brace for a complete year to help heal the vertebrae. I did take pain pills initially, maybe for about a week, but it made me sick to my stomach. I just felt it was just numbing that pain. It was never correcting anything, even though it was so quickly after I broke my back. So, at one time, during Miami, this is when everything is happening, you guys, but this is just nuts to me. I was on 15 different kind of medications, 15, so that's everything from antidepressants to seizure medications to, I'm trying to think what else, anti-anxiety medications, or I shouldn't have said anxiety, those racing thought medications, like some hardcore stuff. To a point, and this was all doctor prescribed. I was not abusing this medication, you guys, but my prescription at one time was for 5 Xanax bars a day. If you know anything about, benzo medications or anything about anti-anxiety medications, I don't even know how I functioned. 5 Xanax bars a day, so 10 milligrams. On top of that, I was on multiple other anti-anxiety medications, Absolutely, Jennifer. So then that's exactly what they did, is like, here's some medication for your epilepsy. Okay, now here's some medication to treat your side effects of epilepsy. Now here's some medication because now you're depressed because not only are you going through this condition, but your body is all out of whack because of this medication, So it absolutely was a snowball effect or spiral effect, It's like, bam, 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 before I knew it, twice a day, literally the palm of my hand is in pills, and taking them and just feeling like crap, ultimate crap. So very, very rough time, got to the point where actually I had to go to the VA and they medically detoxed my body. The VA told me I had 2 weeks left to live at that point. My organs were starting to shut down, my liver, my kidneys, my mental capacity just was not there. It was so fogged and so jaded by these pharmaceutical medications that were supposed to be helping me, and they weren't. They were killing me, legitimately killing me. So, so that was Miami. I got medically retired, fortunately. Like I said, it's not what I wanted to do, but, they recognized 13 years in the service and recognized that, this was not something that I came in with. This was something that happened during my service. So I was medically retired in 2014. What's up, Tina? Hi, Cindy. So, 2014, you guys. So they send me back from Miami back to California because it was recommended, don't live alone. Obviously, don't drive. Don't do these things. So I came back to California and I moved in with my mom. I needed somebody there to monitor my medication, monitor my moods, monitor the actual seizures, the actual condition. So what's up, Tony? So, very, very rough time. I left to go to Arizona for a couple months and had a super bad seizure there that lasted about 4.5 minutes. So my point is with that, I don't have to tell you every individual episode that I had, but before finding these products, and this is really what I want to hit on, you guys, is that So all of this seizure activity, the depression, it got to a point, to where legitimately, because of one of the side effects, I won't mention the name. If you're curious after this, reach out to me, because I'll give you all the information I have on this medication, and my advice would be to stay far, far, far away from this medication. So, reminder for you guys that jumped on, I'm giving away a free $750 tonight. If you guys can tag people or share, that's going to increase your chances. Stay on live, because I'm going to give it out while we're live. So I'm almost done. I promise not to pain you too much longer. So after coming back to California, I was lost. I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, Coast Guard was my life. Like, what am I supposed to do now? This, and this. And I was on a lot of different medications still, because my seizures still were not controlled. I was still having seizures daily on the medication, not grand mals, or not tonic-clonic seizures, but cluster seizures or partial seizures, and maybe a grand mal once a night, when I'm sleeping. I'm not ashamed to share this. We're talking real and sharing the story, and it's a legit problem with epilepsy, is you lose your ability to, hold your urine. There's been many times I've woke up in the middle, or the next morning or the middle of the day, and that's the case, and my jaw's just completely tight, and I feel you feel like you get hit by a train, to be honest. And I know that my epilepsy warriors on here tonight, I know that you guys can relate to that, so I mean, it's horrible. Not to mention, we're going back to the side effects. The side effects of the medication is completely crazy. It made me completely crazy, you guys. Like, not only did I try to take my own life, which I am ashamed of at this point in my life, but looking back, I understand why. And it's because I was lost. It's because the medicine was messed up with me, and I had already been having seizures at that point for, 7 or 8 years, and when you don't see an end, or you don't see hope, in your condition. Sorry, people are coming in, I think. It's my nephew.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry. Just got back from baseball practice. And my niece. So, what's up, Marcelo? So, I lost my train of thought. So I came back, and this side effect of one of these medications really did not sit well with me. I went through a horrible time, to the point where actually I went and checked myself into a VA hospital, a mental hospital. So I spent almost 3 days there. I personally knew that, hey, this is a side effect of this medication, but I couldn't control how I was thinking, about those thoughts, almost like fantasizing about how I would go, what I would do, what's the easiest way, this, all of these, damaging thoughts. Talk about damaging to your soul and to your character, and not only yourself, but when you're looking outside of the bubble, to my family. And that ultimately is what brought me back. My nieces and nephews that you guys just seen, I don't have kids of my own. I have my dogs, but my nieces and nephews are my life, and my family in general are my life. Thank God you weren't. Absolutely, Christine. Absolutely. I mean, such a selfish decision. I recognize that. But what I also recognize is that a lot of people deal with issues like that and go through it. And, when I did this testimony the first time, I had on there, the link to donate to veteran suicide awareness, for the 22 veteran a day statistic, that people commit suicide. And my personal opinion, you guys, and this, like I said, my personal opinion and what I've seen and heard is, if you have issues and you come out of the military, you're a veteran, if there's anything going on, not just pain issues, but mental issues, which is very, very common, especially now, they start throwing medications at you. It's take this pill, do this, do this, do this. You have to do these things if you want to continue to get care from them. So the VA legislation passed a while ago to where the VA can recommend medical marijuana. They can recommend CBD, just like other doctors can recommend it. They cannot prescribe it yet because it's not FDA regulated. I like it that way. I don't like big pharma I don't like big pharma to get into nature. You know what I mean? And when we already have the quote unquote, can't call it that. So when we already have this dietary supplement that is helping so many people, why would we want to get someone involved that it's literally there for profit, and to slap regulations on it? We don't need that when this is perfect how it is. It's absolutely perfect. So quickly, so I came back to California. I threw myself into like a dual master's program. I was able to concentrate and finish that. I went to NASA. Excuse me. I wasn't healthy. I was only at NASA for about a month, and I was struggling. I was struggling dealing with stress. I was struggling dealing with, driving, to and from, and worrying about the uncontrollable convulsions. So I was there for a month. I left there and I went to Northrop Grumman. Had an amazing job at Northrop Grumman. I loved the company. I loved the atmosphere. Sorry, I think it froze. So I was there for 4 months. And then I ended up leaving for the same reasons. I had, a pretty good seizure there at work. And my stepdad had to come and get me. I couldn't see out of my left eye, for about an hour and a half. At that point, that was when I made a decision that, I have to focus on my health. That's what's more important than anything else. So with that, and that's just like a quick recap of my testimony. My point is that I've been through a lot of different things. I started using CBD in 2015 at the recommendation of my neurologist at UCLA. So I have tried, you guys. I got my medical marijuana card here in California. It's not only medically legal, but it's also recreationally legal marijuana. So I got my medical marijuana card. I went in and I tried so many different tinctures. I tried marijuana tinctures. I tried, more CBD tinctures that didn't have any THC in it. I tried a lot of topical rubs, on my back, I always have a dull pain in my spine from when I broke it, so in the mornings, I use the cream. At night, I use the cream right down my spine. The oil I use religiously twice a day. But these other products, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's not, other good products, because my one, and I guess my priority with this is to get CBD into people's hands. Now, do I want you to get the CBD that I am taking? Absolutely. And the reason why, this is what I'm going to tell you. So I tried all of these different CBDs. Some of them worked, for a month. I would go in the next month and I would go to get the exact same milligram, the exact same CBD, and it wouldn't work at all. And so there was never consistency there with me, not something that I could rely on and say, hey, this is going to take care of my seizures. This is going to help me regulate this time, So, like I said, the consistency was not there. It's like the wild, wild west. You have your homegrown stuff that people are making. I'm not knocking that. I think there's some very talented and very good things that can come out of that. But you also have to be careful. There's people that are out there making homemade tinctures with mold, and, different things. Or when they're extracting the CBD, they're using harsh chemicals, like bleach type products to get that CBD out of the plant. Our company uses the gold standard, which is a CO2 extraction method that gets all of that CBD out, all of the medical properties, and it leaves that psychoactive effect, of the hemp and marijuana plant. So definitely an amazing, like I said, I'm trying to be careful what I say here. So definitely an amazing, I can't stress that word enough, dietary supplement. I encourage you, get on there, Google CBD, Google anything that you can think of, and you're going to find research. So yeah, back to that. I never could find consistency, you guys. I mean, I even wrote my entire master's paper, on alternative treatments for veterans, CBD being the main part of that paper, because during that time, I was going through the same thing. I was looking for something that was going to help me personally, and so I came back and I'm like, literally before I even HempWorx, I heard HempWorx, my mom was taking these products. So, I actually got a free bottle from my mom, and I'm like, okay, skeptical, let me try another CBD. Let's see what happens. So I took the product for about 2.5, 3 weeks before I even looked at the business side, anything, because I wanted to make sure, that one, not only could I stand behind the product, but two, that I had an honest, open testimony. You know, I like to be honest with you guys. I'm not going into this with nothing to hide. You know, I'm going into this whole opportunity to get these products in as many people's hands as possible. You know, not to hide my dignity, you know what I mean? It literally is. Like, at this point, it's like, I don't care if people have a thought, there's no education on there, you know, and that's what I direct them to. You know, educate yourself, learn about CBD, learn the difference, you know, and then come back and let's talk, you know, because it truly can help you. You know, everybody needs this product, and that's not a sales tactic. That's not anything. That's legitimate talk. My family will tell you that as soon as I came on board here, obviously, I already had people in mind. Okay, this person can benefit this way. This person can benefit that way. I just wanted to get that product into everybody's hands. Now that those testimonies are coming back, you know, there's no stopping this. So